So without any further ado, we will hand it over to Dr. Catherine Sullivan. She would be showing us today how conversations impact the brain, and from the brain, how it processes to our development and how we think, how we feel, just giving us the neuroscience behind conversation. So over to you, Catherine. Thank you so much. And you can now share the screen.
Okay, good. All right. So I asked Annette if I could take some slides to show you, because I only have 10 minutes to tell you about the remarkable organ that's in your head, which is your brain. Okay. And so in order for you to understand what's happening in your conversations, you have to understand what is the brain made of and how does your brain grow. And we didn't realize for a long, long time, and we knew what the outside of the brain looked like, but we didn't know that the inside of the brain had all these connections, and the nerves that connect the body with the brain, they're the ones that allow you to learn, and they grow with you as you grow. Okay. So this is the gray matter, and this is the white matter, the connections inside that go to your body. Now, how does your brain grow? It grows in size from when you were a 3-year-old child, and is growing now on your way to womanhood. And how does it grow? It grows through experience. And that's why what's amazing about this conference is that we can provide for you an experience that we didn't have as a little girl. Okay, we didn't have this experience. I didn't have this experience. So this is a new experience for me too. So I'm learning with you, and your teachers, they're learning with you too. Now, how does conversation impact the brain? Because that really is the topic that we're going to be discussing today. You're going to understand what's happening a little bit today, but really you're going to understand way more as you continue to have more and more experiences as your brain is growing. So how does conversation impact the brain? Well, it's impacted by what you hear, which is coming from the temporal lobes of the brain, what you speak, which comes from the motor areas of the brain, and how you feel, which is how you feel when other people are speaking to you or when you're speaking to other people. This handout is available to the girls if they want it. There's a website here, which is like a cartoon. It's called Pinky and the Brain, but it's really awesome about explaining the different parts of the brain and what the different parts of the brain do. Okay. Now, this is looking at the inside of the brain. So these are the connections that go from your lips, what you say, to how you feel when you say it. And here are the connections that go from the temporal lobe, what you hear, and how that makes you feel. And I think that what you're learning from all of us is that we're talking about emotional health. So what you say and what you hear, the conversations that you're involved in, make you feel something. And so you want to pay attention to those feelings. You also have to know that what you say also impacts another person too. Okay. So I wanted to kind of go over some points here for you to think about as you're hearing and feeling about today. You're going to be writing down notes about what you're learning. So that's another part of language, is writing. So you're hearing from your teachers and you're writing down, because we're not going to actually give you that much opportunity to speak yet until the end of the session. And then you should write down your questions so that you can speak to us about the questions you have. Okay. So I want you to remember this, that how we learn, my brain is affected by your brain. How we speak, or when we do not speak to each other, that changes both of our brains too. Because if I'm not willing to share with others how I'm feeling, and I talk to my girlfriends, then the teachers don't know what you're thinking, right? So you have to be willing to share what's going on with your feelings And you're speaking and learning about that. That's part of what this conference is about. So, and then how others speak to you creates an emotion. The emotion might be joy, it might be fear, it might be loneliness. And all of you that are here partaking of this event, I bet it's a combination of joy and fear. And then you'll be really fearful when you go to speak about the question you have, but that's okay. That's what you have to get practice at, is how do you speak your emotions? How do you engage in a conversation that, and I learned a new word from Annetta today, a transformational conversation, because that's what this is about, having a transformational conversation, okay, about what you're hearing, feeling, and speaking, okay? So I guess in summary, what I want to say is that you need to be you. No one's asking you to be anything different than who you are. If you like to sing and you like to dance, or you like to cook, or you like to be a mother, those are things that are important to you. That's who you are. That's your nature. But that doesn't have to be all you are. You can be strong enough in your mind and your body to grow into something that you can't even picture right now, because you don't know what you're going to be experiencing. But I do know this, that as long as you respect others as you want them to respect you, then those are the traits that will really make you a very, very successful entrepreneur. Okay. Now, I'm going to end with, what am I doing? Because it's kind of weird. I'm 65 years old, becoming a social entrepreneur. I've been a public educator my whole life. So I believe in education. I have been a teacher to thousands of girls, college students, and adults all over the world. And what frustrates me is that as women, we're always behind. So when we talk about being an entrepreneur, it's like, what is it that we can do that could actually create change in our community? And so what I'm doing is I'm working with some women in Coachella Valley to answer that question, address that question. And one of the things we came up with was to do a children's farmers market. So think about this. This is a business that you could do in your community that allows the younger children to learn about fruits and vegetables, to learn about coffee, to learn about hemp, to learn about the things that women do. And then these women, you're actually helping their business as you create a farmer's market that we actually do for children. So this is just an idea of something that we're doing. And I welcome all of you to come into this community, worldwide community of women, and we can keep sharing ideas that will allow all of us to flourish. So I thank you again for being here. And I know I'll be talking to you later on when the other speakers are done. So again, Annetta, thank you. Girls, thank you. Faculty, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Dr. Catherine. That was amazing. Thank you so much. Girls, did you get that? Did you get that conversations are very important? What we say to others are important. What we hear is important, because all those things forms, feelings and how, and our thought process and how we process things to be able to develop and do the things that we're able to do. That's why we want to surround you girls with empowering conversations like how to start a business, how to be an entrepreneur, how to love yourself, how to know your self-worth, how to build your confidence, and for you to be able to do the things that they would say it's a man's dominated industry. We know that because I grew up in the Gambia, and I know the conversations that I grew around up was, how to become a mother, how to be a wife, how to be a homemaker. All those things are important, but we can do much more. And much more is, I want to see you girls, starting your own business, doing it big, getting into real estate, being property developers. All those things are things that girls can do. and we should be able to do it. But you will not be able to do it if you have never been exposed to those sort of conversation, if you've never heard it, or if you've never seen another woman doing it, then it's likely it's impossible for you. Yeah, so that's why we are here today, to expose you to those conversations now, so that it can spark, something in you to say, yeah, I can become a businesswoman. I can create a global international business. you know I can do great things. I can be a surgeon. I can be anything that I want to be. So that's why we are here today. And thank you, Dr. Catherine, for that demonstration, and for the photos and everything that you've shared, how conversation impacts the brain.